welcome to True Encounters with Marvin Allen and the Doug Pack. I'm your host, Marvin Allen. Had a few technical difficulties, but we back on track.
Yeah, my phone's been acting real weird here lately too.
Huh?
Real weird here.
I'm just waiting till some people get in the chat. Hey y'all, sorry about that. We had technical difficulties, but we back up. Hey Fishes, hey Lieutenant, my bad y'all. Hey Black saying. Yeah, we're gonna wait till some people get in the chat, y'all. Then we're gonna bring on a guest, y'all. We got Paul Chafin coming on tonight. So as soon as some people get in here in the chat, we're gonna bring him on. He's gonna do his encounters, and after encounters over, then y'all can put y'all questions up. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah. So how everybody doing? Hey Claire. Hey Todd. Hey Gerard. Hey Kay. How everybody doing this evening? Yeah, we got a treat for y'all. We got a treat for y'all. We got an eyewitness tonight. Soon as some people get more people come in the chat. Matter of fact, we can start early, y'all. Put them ones up if y'all ready for Paul to come on. Put some ones up if y'all ready for Paul to come on.
What's the name of your show, Marvin?
True Encounters with Marvin Allen and the Doug Pack. Got the Kentucky Doug man in here tonight. Hey Marcus. No, you ain't missed nothing. It was just some. Put the ones up, y'all, if y'all ready. Come on. Put some ones up. There's still some people in the chat. Put the ones up so we can start.
Yeah, I'm on. Okay, more now. Yep. Yeah, I followed your page once before, but now when I go back and look, just had to start.
Do you got is it a brown Doug man? You talking about my YouTube page?
No, I'm on Facebook.
Oh yeah, it's a brown Doug man with a white background.
Yeah.
Smash that like button too, y'all. All right, Is it a brown Doug man with a white background?
Got like a dark around.
No, with a black Doug, man, that's not it. That's the old one. That's the old one. Punch in the other one. It's still True Encounters with Marvin Allen and the DUG pack. Matter of fact, the link is on here. Lieutenant just put the link up. It's in the live chat. You see it?
Yeah, I got it. I was following you, but I was on the wrong. I was on your own.
That's probably why.
I got you. Why you don't have streets that long? This is John. Are you live on YouTube or on Facebook, Marvin?
Huh?
Are you live on Facebook or on YouTube?
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. Wait a minute, I gotta take something. Hold on. Not I ain't talking about cheaper. I gotta try to let me remove this. Yeah, I'm live on
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that I followed you on Facebook, but I was following the page.
yeah.
All right, no, I'm in here with you too, man.
Okay, all right, bet. I gotta take. Okay, y'all. All right, Paul. Show yours. You can start it. Let me know if y'all can hear him. Say something, Paul.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Let me know if y'all can hear him. Can y'all hear Claire, Tracy, D from Texas? Say something again, Paul. Yeah, they say yes. They can hear you.
Echo.
They can hear you.
All right, everybody. You want me to start with just mine?
Yeah, first of all, tell us how you got into it. Tell us how you got into it. Just the basic, where you from, stuff like that.
Well, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, local coal mine of Pike County, just far east as you can. I'm from like minutes from the West Virginia border. But yeah, I decided to go deer hunting one morning and got up. Usually I don't do that. I'm a deer hunter. I go 100% when I deer hunt, so I take it very.
Hey, Paul.
And then,
Paul. Hey, Paul. Paul. Wait a minute, y'all. Hey, Paul. Paul. Wait a minute. Hey, Paul. You keep breaking out a little. You keep breaking up a little bit.
Where to go? My phone. Yeah, man, my phone been acting very, very strange lately. Let me check the location.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know why, man, but I done big show the other night right there in that
I know.
in that garage.
And
It never. Anyway, all right.
You can go and finish though.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good.
Yeah, I just got to get up and go here, and I woke up late that morning, and I got up and just, I didn't get up till like 11, 12 o'clock, and I just moseyed around the house and stuff, and I finally talked myself into going hunting around 12, 1 o'clock. So I got up, got all my gear and stuff, walked up on the mountain, because where I'm from, you just walk out your door, across the road, across the I live up a holler, of course, I did. So you could walk across the road up the mountain. So that's what I did. And I got back in.
It's still happening.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you how
You want to try hey Paul?
Yeah.
You want to try calling on Messenger? Call me on Messenger. It might work better on there.
Okay.
All right, y'all. He gonna call on Messenger because we're gonna see if it work a little better on there. Yeah, just call me on Messenger. All right. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you good. It just broke up again. Go ahead. Huh?
I'm staying.
I can hear you, but it's like it'll go in and then it'll go out.
See if I can have her. I think it's this.
Okay. Hold up, y'all. He said, give him just a second. He gonna try to sort it out. He gonna try to sort it out, y'all. Just give him a few minutes. Thank y'all.
Can you hear me any better right now?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you good now.
All right. I'll just take it off. All right. Just let me know if it starts cutting out again. Like, man, since I done Big Show, honestly, my phone has been acting very, very, very strange. Like,
And that's crazy, yo. I don't like when they do stuff like that.
yeah, I haven't had a good signal, like, nowhere anymore. Like, when I talk to somebody, they're like, man, you're cutting out real bad. But I can hear them very clearly. But yeah, I got up, decided to go hunting. I got up on the mountain to the main top, and I took a trail around that I hadn't took none that year.
Right.
But I had only been out there probably once or twice in my life, But I decided to take that trail, and I walked probably for around 2 hours. I wasn't in a rush or anything. I just moseyed around, I had a shotgun with me, and I got out there and I sat on a rock for a little while, and I got up, leaned up against a tree and sat there and dozed off for about an hour. And I realized, this was in November, so it was going to get dark at like 5 or 5:30. And I knew that this was like at 4. I knew it was going to take me longer, to get home than I had daylight left. So I got up and took like 15 steps, and
just fear hit me, man. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I guess it's probably would be primal fear, you know, like to the core of your body. But I just stopped, man, and I stood there for a second. I didn't really move my head. I just kind of looked, because I was wearing a hat, so I just kind of looked up, you know, under the brim of my hat with my eyes and scanned everything, because I knew the silence that I was hearing. I knew that was more than likely there was a predator around. Mm-hmm. And the silence didn't really dawn on me until the fear hit me. And then I was like, you know, everything started hitting me all at one time. And then I caught movement out off my right side, probably about 50, 60 yards. You know, it was moving. It wasn't moving fast, but when I first seen it, it was just black. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just
right.
It didn't have any features. I couldn't tell anything about it. I guess my mind was trying to put together, you know, what I was seeing, but it took, like, you know, it took this thing's journey through the visual that I had. You know, it probably got about halfway before I realized what it was, and I just caught the elbow. And then once I seen the elbow, I seen like the side from a side view. I could see the chest. And then I noticed the tail, you know, and then I just started seeing everything. So, you know, the tail went down probably about 10 inches from touching the ground, but it curled up, solid black. I don't know if it had maybe a tannish color, like skin, like where its chest was. It didn't have a lot of hair, but the fur on it was solid black. Like, I mean, if you was to it's like shining a flashlight in a really deep hole, like, you know, soak up the light, kind of black.
Wow.
But yeah, this thing just walked. It never turned around and looked at me. It never even acknowledged that I was standing there. Mm-hmm. So you know, and later on I put together. I just put together that, you know, and had I been it stopped, you know, it would have, me and it would have bumped into each other had I not stopped. So I think it stopped me so it could go. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of that, you know, why it would have done what it done. But yeah, it was a life-changing experience, Martin, for sure.
Oh, I'm sure it was, especially after you
And you see what I'm doing now. But you know, that thing walked off, and I'm assuming it went down to all fours as it went over the mountain, because it was a pretty steep drop off over there. I mean, it wasn't straight up and down, but I mean, it wouldn't have been no fun to try and climb down. But now I think it dropped down to all fours as it went over that mountain, and
right.
It's just gone. I didn't even hear it. Like, I didn't hear it breaking limbs or nothing after I went outside.
Oh, okay, I got you. How tall do you think it was, though?
Well, we went back up there a couple of months later, me and one of my friends, and I just, from what I've seen, rough estimate is probably between 7 and 8 foot tall. It probably weighed about 600 pounds, just guessing.
Wow, that's still a big boy.
Well, I mean, you really don't, even looking at pictures and stuff, you just really don't. I don't think people really grasp the size of these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's they're very, very, very large animals. Like, shooting it, me raising my gun and shooting it never even crossed my mind.
Wow. And you know what, though, Paul? That's what I be saying about a lot of people. Why would they even go out and really try to, you know, kill or bag one of these things when the results can be, you know what I mean? I mean, you really don't know what the results gonna be. Like the guy that was on.
And I'll be honest. I believe that, you know, it probably is possible to put one on the ground. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that you would ever get out of there with it.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I don't think you're gonna make it out that far. Period.
No, I don't.
But do you think some of these creatures are tagged?
I do. I think they are. Just, it's hard, man. It's hard to explain. I go back and forth, man, like with why they hide it from us. And I mean, it's either money or religion. I don't know which, but it's one of those.
And you're right, though, Paul. I always said it's a money thing, you know, because in these national parks, they make a lot of money. You know, tourists tourists come through there and they want to camp. They want to see other animals and stuff. So that right now, though, even it took them so long to, you know, let the public, they ain't really worrying about the aliens no more because they know we done caught on to it. We done seen it. Too many people done seen it and got too much evidence of these UFOs and these aliens. So they ain't even really worrying about that. But anytime you want to say, okay, we're going to let the public know about these werewolves walking around in these state forests, they not going to never disclose that. So, you know.
No, I don't think they will either. You know, I don't know, man. I've heard a lot of stories over the past while about people being messed with and threatened and stuff. So, yeah, I don't think anybody will ever be able to put it out there.
Yeah. I was talking to an eyewitness earlier today, and he said he was in the military, and a lot of stuff that he was telling me about, man. He said when you in there, man, a lot of stuff that you see, you don't see. You know, you didn't see that. You know what I mean? So a lot of stuff they can't even talk about. You know.
Well, even law enforcement and these game wardens and stuff. There's a lot of them that seen stuff and they're not allowed to talk about it either.
Right. And they know what's out there.
Well, you know, and just like I heard Vic say in an interview before, you know, they'll come to your house and they'll want to take you to a podium somewhere and you can get up and say that what you got on camera was a hoax, or it would be real unfortunate for them to find that little kiddie porn on your computer, you know? Right. So, I mean, to me, that's very scary.
Yeah, it is. And the way that they threaten a person too, you know, you can tell them, no, I ain't see no coyote. I seen, you know, this thing stood up. No, you didn't. You saw a coyote. You saw a bear.
I mean, does everybody believe that if we were to get that Patterson footage of a dog man, that anybody would be able to share it publicly with anybody?
I don't think so. I really don't. Not one of them things. Just actually, you catching one of these things on film. Actually,
well, I mean, think about it. Bigfoot don't have a snout, and he don't have 2-inch canines hanging out of his mouth.
Right. At all. You know, at all. So I don't. To me, the government know what's out there already on YouTube. You know, but they look at it like this. Okay, that Holy Grail picture ain't come out yet, so we ain't too bothered. But when you get that one picture, that Holy Grail, when you can see everything, yeah.
Yeah, when you cross that line.
Yeah, that's when trouble set in.
Yeah, as long as these pictures are debatable and people can debate them, then you're good.
Yep. And that's all they worrying about. You know, that's all they worrying about. And right now, would you say that Kentucky is one of the hottest hot spots?
I mean, I don't know because I haven't really been to any other locations. But I can tell you that, you know, our national parks here in Kentucky I believe they are covered with these things. I think they are everywhere.
Yeah, and I can believe that too. And there's a whole lot of people that own, you know, a lot of people own a lot of land in Kentucky too.
Yeah, I mean, like even today, we went out and we were in some places today that probably never been seen by man.
Wow, and see,
not for 100 years at least.
And that's what I'm saying. Though it's places out here where man probably ain't even stepped foot in, like you said, over 100 years, 200 years, or probably ain't never stepped foot in. So that's a good place for these, you know, for these creatures to hide.
Yeah, a lot of wildlife today. I mean, where we were at, you can just see a lot of deer tracks, and I got some good video and good pictures today.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I can't wait to check them out. Yeah, that's good because you do be getting some good pictures. I was asking your partner about Lily, and I was asking him, do he think that she had any, you know, pups yet? And he said he didn't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I've got one picture that I posted before that came from the spot where Kurt has seen Lily at. So I know they're active down in there for sure. Now I don't know either. I'm like Kurt. I don't know whether she's had whether she's had little ones or not. But I know that they have little ones with them right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay. And one thing about them, they're not gonna let them small ones out of their sight. You know,
No.
they ain't gonna let them travel, too far, because when they're young, it's small, so they probably be curious. So I think they teach them not to really go to us.
Well, when we show up down there and we're doing what we do, they'll come in with their young and just lay down and chill and just watch us. Wow. And I'll be looking at some of the footage that some guys be getting, in the scope, and they might be like 100 yards away, but it don't look that far. Like that video, The Bigfoot Watches Me, that y'all gonna put in the documentary. Now that's a good piece. That's a good piece. And I mean, even that one, when Kurt filmed it, he was only about 20, 30 yards from that.
Well, yeah, because that thing looked real close. Looked like if he wanted to run, yeah, he'd have caught him.
Oh, he could have got him. He could have got Kurt if he wanted to.
Yeah.
It didn't, but it could have.
Yeah, I know it could have. Can you tell us some more things that you experienced?
Well, I went out down here near my house. Matter of fact, the same place we went today. And I got down in there, and I went alone. I don't really ever do that, but I went alone on this day because I just planned on switching out the SD cards, and then I was going to come back to the vehicle and leave. But when I got there to the trail camera, I switched it out, the SD cards, and then I decided to just kind of make a loop around there, come back out on the trail and walk back to my car. But I walked probably 40 yards, 50 yards from the trail camera, and I heard this dog bark out in front of me through the brush. I couldn't see. I was standing in kind of like the only way I can describe it is that there was a lot of thorns. There was a lot of that hay-looking grass. It looks like deer have bedded down in it. I don't know if they have or not. That's just what it looks like. But yeah, I heard a dog bark, and it was very, very loud, louder than probably any dog I've ever heard.
Wow.
I mean, just the sheer size of the dog, whatever, I didn't see it, but now it charged at me, and it would bark 2 or 3 times, and it would bark again after a couple seconds.
Wow.
And it would bark again, and each time it was closer to me. So after the second time it barked, I realized that it was coming my direction, so I panicked, And dog man is not the first thing to hit my mind. I thought maybe somebody was down in there with their dog or something. All I could picture in my mind was what, one of these 3-inch slugs would do to somebody's domestic dog,
Right.
So I tried to hit that tree that was there, and it was probably about 4 or 5 inches around. It wasn't a big tree, but it had thorns. The tree didn't have thorns on it, but there was a vine growing around it that did have thorns. So, like, I was trying to get into that tree, man, and just the thorns were digging into my head, my arms. And it just to the point where, this all happened in about 60 seconds, but it felt longer to me. But I finally just said, screw it. I turned around with my gun, and when I swung that gun around, I was expecting it to bust through that brush. And it just dead stopped.
Wow.
It never made another sound.
Wow.
And I stood there for probably 5-10 minutes or so, whatever, and just being really quiet, trying to hear it and see if I could hear something leaving. But I couldn't hear it, so I know that it was still there. But I backtracked my way out of there and went back the way I came, and just took my time and really looked around. I never did see anything, but before all this had happened,
right,
I had my camera out and was filming.
Right.
And I got a couple of them on in a picture, so literally standing right there where it happened at. So I don't know if it was the ones in the picture that did it or if it was another one, but I think I was headed to where they were at. I don't know what they were doing, but I was headed in that direction. So, I mean, I'm sure I probably made them mad somehow.
Right. And you know what? You could have. You definitely could have.
I wasn't about to go over there and stick my head in there and see if whatever it was still there.
Let me ask you this, Paul. I know Doug man down there. Have y'all seen any other cryptids down there? Rake, Goat Man.
I have not, man. The only thing I've seen down there is Dog Man, with the exception of one video that I have that has a Bigfoot in it where it's opening and closing its mouth. But other than that, that's the only cryptid that I've seen. Now, do I believe that Bigfoot's in there? Absolutely. I believe they are.
Oh yeah,
I don't think they're inhabiting. I don't think they're inhabiting the same area.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think that they really, people ask that, do you think they can correlate, together?
Well, I mean, I think maybe they might cross paths or something when they're hunting, maybe, or whatever. But I would assume they have to hunt the same area.
Absolutely.
But I don't believe that they are living in the same area.
Yeah, I don't need it. Let me ask you this though. Do you think? I mean, what do you think? What do you think this cryptid is? You think it's flesh and blood? Do you think it's supernatural or?
Well, I think there is a supernatural side that don't relate to the flesh and blood dogmen, if that makes any sense. I think there's flesh and blood creatures out there that are just like us as far as eating and breathing, and everything else. But I also believe that there's, a supernatural side of it that probably has to do with a lot of evil and I've heard a lot of different theories, and I can't debunk none of them. I can't say one way or the other. I just go based on what I've seen personally. What I've seen looked 100% flesh and blood to me. So, and like I said before, I believe one of them could be put down, but I don't ever believe that you will get out of there alive with it. And
no, I don't
tell
either.
People all the time, I'm like, if you go out here and shoot at one of these creatures and you don't kill it, and then somebody like me comes along and I aim a camera at them, what do you think's going to happen?
Right.
If I'm the next person to encounter after you open fire on it, then,
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think that too, Paul. I mean, I just think somebody gonna go out here one day and they gonna shoot this creature and this thing gonna just, man, this thing might just zap. You never know.
And they're gonna be chopped up to another bear attack. Is what'll happen.
Yep, it's somebody gonna wind up dying. Somebody gonna wind up dying. Because everybody out here to bag about it. Oh man, I'm gonna go out here and kill a Bigfoot, and I'm gonna take them around the world. You ain't gonna make it around the world.
Hey, until you see one of these creatures in the sheer size that they are, you just really don't get a grasp in your mind. I know people hear you say that they're 8 foot, 700 pounds, but to actually see one that's that big, it's a different story.
Yeah, you're right, because this was like in 1976, and it's a residential area up here, and it was people had started calling in about something walking in the middle of the street, straight down. Now, if you walk down the street I'm talking about, it'll lead down here where this old army barracks at, and it leads to the train tracks and all that. So this thing was actually trying to walk down the street. Now, it was a Bigfoot at this time. This thing had to be about at least 12 feet. And I mean, when you talk about the width on it, probably 5.5 feet in width. This thing was huge. The dogs wouldn't even follow it. They wouldn't even follow the scent. They stopped. So they tried to track this thing, man. They shut the whole area down.
I think, like you listen to people like David Pilates talk, like, and anybody that follows the dog man subject, I recommend that you also listen to David Pilates.
I listened to him. I've been listening to him since he came, since I found him. But he will never say what's taking him though. That's the one question that he avoids.
He's been talking about a lot of strange things.
Yeah.
But like if a dog man was to was to take somebody and you were to take a dog in there to try and track it, that dog's not going to track that creature. That dog smells what that was.
You're right.
Knows better.
And they won't. They won't. They will not. They will not do it. For some reason, they will not track it. And you are absolutely right.
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, there's a lot of strange things going on in this world, and if somebody come to me and said, you know, I seen a goat man, or I seen a mothman, you know, knowing what I've seen, who am I to call anybody else a liar? You know what I'm saying? So I just have an open mind. I know that there's things in this world that's just not taught to you in school in your history book.
You're absolutely right. Hey, Maximilian. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's a lot of things they're not gonna let us know, man. They're not gonna just wake up one day and say we're gonna tell them about this. No, they're not gonna do that.
And that's why I go out and do what I do.
And you know what, man? I take my hat off, and I commend you though, because I mean, it ain't a lot of people out here boots on the ground. It ain't. You know, a lot of them just sitting behind and on a keyboard. But they experts. How you an expert and you just on a keyboard?
Yeah,
and
man,
you ain't got no field hours in whatsoever.
I mean, and everybody that's in this field plays an important role. You know, in my opinion, everybody does. From the person like Vic, who's helping these people with the encounters that they had, to you know, you and you know, or Jody and Josh, all these people, you know, getting these encounters out there that you otherwise wouldn't hear.
Wow.
So I just think everybody, you know, to me, you know, like on my end, I'm going here, you know, I can put a picture and put a track with the encounter that somebody had, or, you know, I can show you this, or, you know,
right.
It's just, everybody plays an important role, I believe. But there's also a lot of jealousy and a lot of fight.
It is. Like what man you was like what the conversation man you had earlier today, you know. When I called you earlier today, you know, and it's sad at the end of the day, you know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. That's why I just don't even say nothing, but just feed into it. Because at the end of the day, it ain't worth it, for real. Especially when people trying to do the same thing.
I literally don't have time for it. Between my kids and reviewing this footage and going out to the field and doing all this stuff, I just really don't have a lot of time to address you know, just like the other day, I woke up and as soon as I opened my eyes, man, and looked at my phone, I had some a message on there about a comment now that I had made on I don't know if anybody remembers, but somebody posted that video like in my group. They posted that video, and at the end of it, it says movie prop, and it shows that dead werewolf or whatever. And I left a comment on there that said, movie prop my ass. So for me, that would have, you know, I would have took that, if that was mine and I had made that, I would have took that as a compliment. You know, because to me, that looked very real. But
right. Which one you talking about? The Gable?
No, somebody posted it. It's like a video of like a couple of different dogmen and werewolves.
You talking about the one that's? You talking about the one that's?
One, it says this is the movie prop, and then it shows you that dead dogman laying on the ground, and it looks like a werewolf. It don't have haunches. It has toes and feet.
I wonder if I seen
I mean,
that.
It looked real. The guy done a really good job.
Yeah. But
you know, and then after I put that comment on there, somebody had shared a link to the guy's page, and it showed him standing with that werewolf. So, you know, the guy's very talented, very talented. But where I put that comment on there, whoever shared that into my group, I'm not going to mention no names, but the guy that shared that into my group, yeah, he was real mad about me saying that. Right. Even though I acknowledged it and apologized to him, I don't know. I guess he wanted me to get on the group and apologize in public to build his credit.
Right.
So, I mean, I pretty much, you know, you can take your feelings and bounce. I don't care. I apologize to you. I removed the post. So, you know,
right. Bye. And a lot of videos, you know what I mean? That's why people get mad because Vic won't post no videos. You know what I mean?
No.
And he say,
well, I mean,
he just say he
if
not.
You go back, if you go back and listen to Vic's interviews, Vic tells you very plainly. You know, Vic don't want you. He don't want people sending him pictures and stuff.
No,
Vic's not in it for that.
no,
He's
he not. Now,
analyzing pictures.
Vic say, trust me, you really don't want to see one of these things.
Exactly,
you know, because
right.
he got videos of these things, you know, that people have shared with him. I mean, videos that this thing walking. So, and people can't, I mean, you got to respect a man if they don't want to show certain things, you know, certain boundaries right. You can't cross. Okay, I respect that. He don't want it, you know, he don't want to show it to me, then I have to respect that. You know, and you got to, you know, because trust me.
I know how. I've also got pictures and stuff that I can't share publicly. And you know, and it's killer, dude, because I would love to share it.
Right. I know you would. But,
you can't, man. You just can't.
And you know
put
what?
That stuff out there.
I was talking to Vic on the phone one day, right? And I had an eyewitness. And she had a family. She had a family on her property. You know, probably was a whole pack though, but she used to see the female and the youngs all the time, you know, crossing her property because she owned a lot of land. And somehow she was able to get pictures. She got pictures of these, and man, I do everything at her. Well, I say, man, I said, I promise I will not show them to nobody, you know what I mean? Vic was like, well, Marvin, you probably can. He said, you probably can ask till you turn blue. She probably not gonna come off of them, and she didn't though, you know.
Well, and then Vic also told me about them guys in the Sierra Mountains that put that trail camera up, tied that bait up off the ground. Said the dog man walked right out on camera. He did.
That's where it was at. You're right, the Sierra Mountains. You're right, and you can see from the waist up. I think, right? I think he said you could. I think he said he seen like he seen from like I think where the I guess the midsection or down where the neighbor would be on up. Yeah, he was telling me about that. He said, he said you see it clear as day. I'm like, wow. So this thing, they must have had the camera where this thing wasn't even worrying about it.
He told me that in one of the pictures that the thing is looking right at the camera.
Wow. So
I would assume that, you know, the dog man or that dog man had never encountered probably people before.
I'm gonna read this one question, but I'm gonna wait to the end to ask him. Al wanted to ask this one question. Say, why can't Paul share those pictures? Some of the ones that you wouldn't mind sharing, but you can't. What you saying? That's what he wanted.
Well, because people send them to me and ask me not to share them, and that's why I don't.
Question.
Honestly.
Good question. You know, and you got to respect it.
You know, I'm just that type of guy. You know, if you send me a picture and say don't share this with anybody, then I'm not going to.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. You know, I don't blame you because it don't matter because you can always have the best picture in the world. Somebody can always say, "Oh man, that's pareidolia. That's not real." You're gonna always get scrutiny about it.
If it's too good, it's fake. If it's not good enough, it's true.
Right. And it don't make no sense though. And it's just it's crazy though. So you're gonna either way you're gonna get beat up and beat down and
as of right now, man, I've got a good group of people that's in the Kentucky Dogman Project. And, you know, there ain't been no hatefulness going on other than that one dude, you know.
Right.
But other than that, man, everybody's been really cool. You know, I couldn't ask for a better group. So, and you know, like, there's a couple of questions that you have to answer when you come into the group.
Right.
And you know, if people can't answer those questions, then I decline them. You know, I'm not here for followers. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not just going to approve people because.
I'm gonna answer one more question for right now. Paul, somebody said they from Hazard, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Have you heard any encounters there or in Estill County, Kentucky?
Well, I haven't, but now that's kind of close to where we go in the Daniel Boone National Forest down around, you know, southern, eastern, southern Kentucky. I haven't heard any encounters down there, not around Hazard or Estill County or any of them. No, I haven't heard any encounters yet.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else that you can talk to us about?
I mean, I can talk to you. I mean, it really just depends on what you want to know. If I know it, I mean, I don't care if you share information. And if I don't know, I'll tell you that I don't know, or this is my opinion, or whatever.
I mean, okay. Anything else you can share with not just me, but the group on these cryptids? What is a typical day when you go out on your investigation?
Well, we went out today. I had a couple of guys come down from up in northern Kentucky, and we went out here near my house and spent the whole day. I mean, it was, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, just sometimes, man, you just have films and stuff in these areas, and if you film behind you, I mean, they followed us the whole time we were there. Like I've got them on. Listen, I shot probably 10 videos while I was there. And I said, when I got home, I watched the first video, and within the first 20 seconds, I had one on camera.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think they don't have a choice. If they're in the area and you go into it, they don't have a choice for some reason but to come and watch you. They're more intrigued with you than you are with the subject yourself.
Right. One thing I wanted to ask you, right? I wanted to get this question out here. I wanted to ask you this. What do you think about the LBL, and what do you really think happened?
Well, I listened to the interview. I've listened to both the guys' interviews, and I've listened to Jody talk. And when I listen to Jody talk, he makes sense. You're like, yeah. Why ain't this happening? And why didn't that happen? And
right.
then, but when you listen to Roger talk, he has such sincerity in his voice that
right.
It's just hard to believe that he's lying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, I don't know if the guy's lying or not. I truthfully don't.
Right.
I believe something happened down there for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I believe some people died. And I think if Roger is lying, it's very, very dirty, and it's very disrespectful. Right.
And now, listen, now I'm going to tell you this. I had this when I had my co-host, and we had a guest on that come from out of Kentucky. He come from out of Kentucky. He had a sighting and everything down there. He said that he had a friend who was in law enforcement that was there during the time of these murders. He said that from what his friend told him that was there, he said he stayed there the whole time. He said that he didn't see them remove no creature. Now, this is a guy that I had on the show. You know what I mean? The guy, he said he didn't see them remove no creature when they went down in that holler and remove that Doug man down there. Said they had to use a deuce and a quarter to pull him out and all that. He said that the guy stayed there the whole time. He said that they didn't remove no creature. And another guy told.
And that's another thing, man. Like, Jody Cook and these other guys and Kumbo and all of them, they have documentation to show that they have researched this for the last 30 years. Whether they've got any true eyewitnesses or just hearsay or whatever, they've been in the location many times. They've got they've done a lot of interviews with people. And this guy, Roger, just come out with his story. He don't have anything to show you to back up what happened.
Right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So at this point, you're either just listening to the guy's voice and believing him or not.
Right. And another thing though, Paul, I had another eyewitness on the show too. And I think this was when I was on Venomous. I think when I was on Venomous Friends with Chris and them, and he was saying that what they did is they put them bodies back in the RV, drove them off somewhere, and it's like they blew all the evidence up. He said this is a story that he heard. So, like I said, stories fluctuate. You might hear one, and then 2 years later you hear something different. You know what I mean? So it's like you ain't gonna always hear the same story.
Well, like I said, if that guy Roger is lying, because the one thing that we know for sure, I believe, is that people died down there. You know, how they died, what killed them, you know, probably was a cryptid, dog man, whatever. But I just think it's disrespectful for somebody to come out and lie and then use this story and those people to build a name for himself, you know. So
right. And I can't say that he was lying either. I don't know.
I can't call it either. I'm just you know,
because
I see it. What I'm saying is I see it from Jody's side.
Right.
And then, like I said, when you listen to Roger talk, I mean, he just sounds sincere, you know, like, so it's just really hard to tell.
And another thing you got to think of, what about, how many people are still living that was really there?
Yeah.
How many people are still living? It's got to be a paper trail.
Exactly.
It's got to be a paper trail. It got to be. It's no way.
Is the guy's parents dead? I mean, can nobody not put him there at that time? You know what I'm saying? There's got to be something, man.
Yeah, it got to be. It got to be, and that's what I'm saying. Got to be. It's got to be.
I've listened to all the interviews, and like I said, I just go back and forth with it, man. When you hear Jody talk, he makes sense, and you do want to know them answers. They should be. They should be. The questions should be answered. But then when you listen to Roger talk, you're like, man, he sounds so sincere. Like, why, you know?
Right. Right. It's nerve wracking though, because
he could have come in, you know, that guy Roger could have come in and said, yeah, man, it was 12 feet tall, it had blood dripping from its mouth, and it was ripping people limb from limb. You know, he could have really indulged on the story, but he didn't.
And another thing, let me ask you this. What do you think Dugmen are?
You know, man, if I had $1 a time, I'd be nice.
I know you be rich.
Yeah. Man, I went back and forth. At one point, man, I was researching and doing a bunch of, you know, there was a bunch of lights that have been seen in the woods, and then there'll be an encounter afterwards. So there at one time I thought maybe these were an alien race of dog-headed people. Christopher Columbus talks about them in his memoirs, and just other people throughout history talk about them.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know, you know, and then I started leaning toward maybe they're Nephilim, or I don't think they're Nephilim. I think that Nephilim was doing like gene splicing and all this stuff and probably created these things. Right.
And you know what? That could be the plate. Could be the case though, because you know you got cynocephaly, and you know you had a race of dog-headed men. You know what I mean? That looked like basset hounds, but did all of them look like basset hounds? Not gonna say all of them looked like basset hounds, you know, because I'm sure some of them had different looks to them. Some of them probably looked like Doberman. Some of them probably looked like German Shepherds. Some of them probably looked like Childs and Mastiffs and Rottweilers.
Right now, 90% of the United States is inhabited, you know, so we don't have any choice with the way things are going, but to have encounters with these things, because their habitat's getting smaller and smaller, to the point where any land that's protected by the government that you can't hunt on is probably covered with these creatures.
Right. Have you heard about the thing up in which state that was? They was trying to pass a bill where you can hunt Bigfoot. They talking about they ain't want to kill it. They don't want to kill it, but they just want to put it in a cage and so people can see it and all that. But who want people to look at this?
In Washington State, I believe they recognize it as an animal. Like if you buy a book that or an almanac or whatever that has all the animals in it, it shows it, man. It shows Bigfoot in there. So, I mean, I believe they acknowledge. I think the government does in their own way acknowledge the creatures there. And I think if you probably shot one, you probably get in trouble and have to answer a bunch of questions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was in Oklahoma that was trying to pass that bill, but I don't see them passing no bill like that. you know, because they talk about some, you know, some people be like, man, I'm trying to help these animals. No, they don't need our help. They do just fine without us.
And we were talking about that today. We were talking about Todd Standing today, and he's like suing the state of California because they won't recognize it. They won't,
right? But they don't really need our help. They've been doing this for so long. You know, they just leave man to leave them alone, basically.
Well, I listened to a story the other night. I forget what show I was listening to, but they were talking. Some guys were supposedly it happened in the Daniel Boone. I'm not sure. I think that's where it happened. But some guys were going out there. I don't know if they were going out there to shoot guns or they were going out there to look for Bigfoot or whatever they were doing. But one of the guys got there first, and he was shooting his gun. And what they believe happened was he just so happened to accidentally shoot toward one of these creatures. And they found him jammed up underneath the dashboard of his car, dead, and his gun bent and broke.
See what I mean? And that's why I say, man, you never know. You never know. Now, one day these guys was going looking for Bigfoot one time, and they said when they left, wasn't nothing in the middle of the road. But when they came back, it was a 2,000-pound tree just sitting right there. Like somebody just lifted up and put it there, like, y'all won't go no further in that truck.
And you know what I believe happens is if you go into an area, when you turn around and come back out, if there's a log in the road, I think that they'll bring their young in and sit there and let their young watch how you act. And they can see the inside of your car, your vehicle, how you act in a situation and what, just everything. I mean, that's what I would do.
Okay, I'm going to let them start asking you some questions. All right, y'all in the chat. Y'all got any questions for Paul? Type them in now. Any questions for Paul? Just type them in. Yeah, but it's just crazy. And when I was on Venomous Fringe, Paul, and I was asked a question. They said, Marvin Allen, what do you think about the missing 411 and what do it have to do with cryptids? Do you think cryptids are taking some of these people? I went on there, man. I say, look, this is just for me, and it might not be for nobody else. I said, I don't have no proof that these things are taking people. I said, I can't just say, okay, Doug, man, took that little girl. How do I know? I don't have no proof that Bigfoot took her or Goat Man took her. So one guy was like, he said, I agree with you, Marvin. We just don't have enough data on these creatures, on these cryptids to say anything. It ain't like we got a camera tied to them to see everything they do. We don't.
Yeah, I mean, even that, listening to that government agent speak on Jeff's show, that guy's got a lot of detail in his stories, and he just tells the stories so nonchalant, like it's just everyday common knowledge, You're
talking about the guy, William.
Yes.
The one that killed 7 Dougmans with a knife.
Yeah.
Man, I stopped listening to it after that, Paul. Wait a minute, Paul, you got the first question. And this comes from dude from Texas. And he want to know, have you seen any lights or orbs yourself in the woods before cryptid sightings?
I have not. I have not seen any orbs or any supernatural stuff. And that's the one reason that leads me to believe that they're flesh and blood.
Right.
Now, with that being said, I have looked at pictures before and been able to see their head very clearly, but not be able to see the rest of the body. So, I mean, I don't know, man. The supernatural end of it is just really deep to me. You know what I'm saying? I believe that gets really deep.
Yeah, it do, because a lot of people think that they supernatural, and I'm it's just me though. I'm just like I think that if any animal or human being can use a large part of their brain, then they can do some shit that you ain't never seen before in your life.
I just think. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you watched it, but I shared a video, and it looks like a domestic dog, man. But when you look at it and you pay attention, you realize that a domestic dog does not have the presence of mind to use its fur as camouflage and know where to sit in a dark spot where you can't see it. And then it knows when you look down and take your eyes from looking in front of you. When you look down or turn your head, it knows to move.
Right.
You know, a domestic dog don't know how to do that, or a wild dog don't know how to do that. It's just not what they do.
Absolutely. Okay, got another question coming out the chat, and it's come from Southern Guy. He want to know: have you seen footprints from the Doug man?
I have. I've got many tracks here. I got casts everywhere. I got many pictures and casts of tracks. I've got some very large ones.
Okay, another question. Antonio Shillicky, and he said, have you had a healthy dose of fear when you go on these investigations?
Oh yeah, the first encounter that I ever had in my life gave me fear that I can't even explain to you guys. And even this one that happened down here in this park that I go to, when that happened, I mean, it scared me to my core. You know, like I'm not afraid to admit it. You know, I'm not scared of a lot of things, and I'm willing and able to deal with it in whatever way I have to. You know, whether it ends with it dying or me dying, whatever. But yeah, I just I've experienced the fear a few times. It's there and it's real.
And the trouble with me is that it seems like they can find Bigfoot tracks, like multiple tracks that go on for a minute. But it seems like these Doug men, it seems like you can't find them like that.
You can't, man. I don't know
it's
what
like,
it is.
Like they stop and they leap somewhere.
But now, with that being said, I do have some really good areas where I look for tracks at, and I've kind of learned where to look just through trial and error of looking for tracks. So I've been real lucky with it so far. I've found some really good tracks, and I've even casted.
Right.
All of them's posted in the Facebook group. So I mean, anybody that wants to go over to Dogman, the Kentucky Dogman Project group and look, there's pictures of the cast and stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely go over and check it. I seen the one that you got the 2 prints on there. You know what I mean? Because some of these tracks be so big, man. You be like, you got 3 toed tracks, you got 4 toed tracks. You know what I mean?
And you know, like you said though, and that's a very good point. Is there's never 2 tracks. Like
you're right.
The tracks that I have are just one track. But
I
also get them from a small area, you know, where, you know, it would only be 1 foot track.
Right. It's like they know.
Yeah.
It's like they know where to step at, or they had that one track and then they just leap or something.
Well, you know, and we went down to the Daniel Boone, me and Kurt did, and I got this cast, very large track. I mean, it's one of its fingers is longer than mine.
Wow.
So, you know, I got that cast, and I believe that they're intelligent. I believe they see us down there messing with their tracks. So the next time that I went down there was no new tracks. It was still the same tracks that was there the last time I had went. So I think they're smart. I think they know, or they're able to pick up and learn.
Yeah, and you know what? It's another thing. I seen that picture you post one day off of Google Earth of them in the tree line.
I think somebody else posted that in the group, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You can see, I mean, you can see it right in the tree line now. Yeah. I was on Google Earth one time, and I was up in Michigan somewhere. So, you know, I'm on there and I'm looking through, and some said, you know, scan to the left, and I blew it up, and man, one just stand right out, and I can tell it's a werewolf type because it got the hominid legs, but it's built like a Bigfoot. It had the short snout and had the ears that sit right there on the side. Y'all was like, man, this thing was just, and right next to it was another one. As I started scanning, I seen them in the trees, man. It had to be. It seemed like it was just a whole pack right there. It had to be like 8 in that one picture when I was scrolling through.
Yeah, they travel in groups for sure.
Yeah, they
there's
definitely
never just one. And you know, there may be every now and then one goes rogue or whatever, and that may be what happens when they're looking at people's windows. And you know, they might just go wild, get curious, and want to know, you know, what's going on.
Right. Right.
I don't know what causes them. I think it's probably different reasons cause them to come to people's houses. Maybe it's hunger, or maybe it's just curiosity, or maybe they're just mad,
Yeah, because I mean, some people said that some of these creatures have followed them home.
Yeah.
I mean, actually followed them. I mean, one guy said he shot. Go ahead.
Scott Carpenter said they followed him 30 miles from his area to his house. He said he lives in the suburbs.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that they were climbing the trees in his backyard. His neighbors were having a cookout and just so happened to see something climbing the tree in his backyard. He said he was out of town.
But they didn't know what it was?
No, and the neighbors come over there and tried to find out and run the person off, and apparently it jumped out of the tree like 15 feet out into the yard and took off. And, he said there was no way a human could have jumped out of that tree like that.
No, not the way they jump, man. These things jump like they got springs on their feet.
And, and that's another thing. Well, I truly believe this. I haven't proved it, and I don't know, but this is just my theory, just from being out in the woods. I think that their movements are so fast that our eyes can't catch them. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see something out the corner of your eye when you look, nothing's there.
You make a good point. I agree with that. You make a good point. Because they do though, when these things running and they have clock speeds, man, and people like, man, it's no way a person could be running like that.
Yeah. And I mean, just even there's a video on YouTube. I don't know if anybody ever seen it, but a guy posted it. It's from a trail camera, and it shows what is supposed to be a dog man, and it's chasing something. Something runs through the camera's range of vision. And runs out like straight ahead of the camera, and whatever's chasing it is on all fours. But as it's out in there, before it goes off camera, it stands up. And
You're absolutely right. You absolutely right. I seen it. You're right. It stands up like when it get to the end. It's staying up. It's like it don't even break its stride, yo.
Yeah, and it's a blur though.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the video, when you see it, it's just a blur. You can't tell what it is. It's moving so fast.
But it's like it's running, and then it just stands straight up. I'm like, wow, man, that is crazy. It's like they don't.
There's some good videos out there, and there's some good footage out, and pictures too.
Absolutely, a whole lot of it.
Unfortunately, you're just not going to get a picture of a werewolf standing out in the open. That's just not the reality of what's going on here. I wish it was, and that's everybody's goal, I'm sure, that's doing this. But, you just have to come to terms with the fact that, this is a real subject. These are real creatures, and they just don't look like your cinema werewolf.
Anybody have any questions? Any more questions? Yeah, it's just crazy though. At the end of the day, though, it really is. At the end of the day, man. That's why I always was curious about the LBL, though. Because the guy that I had on my show said it happened. That happened 3 years after he had it. No, 3 years before.
I used to live down there. I lived in Callaway County down in Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my dad went over into the Land Between the Lakes all the time. We fished and hunted and stuff. But, this was before I ever had an encounter with anything. So, I was probably like 10, 12 years old. But, I just never seen anything that led me to believe, that there was something I only seen in movies in the woods for real. And you listen to that guy on Vic's show back. I think it's like episode 263, the one that happened in Danny Boone.
Yeah,
the guy has the dog and stuff. But you listen to his story, and where I'm from, that's just how it is. You go to your grandpa with something, and that's just how they are. They're just old. They're old coal. My grandpa worked in coal mines 50 years. They're just an old breed of people, and they're there's things in the woods that we can't explain. And if you want to do the things you say that you love to do, then you're just going to have to deal with it.
Right. Somebody said that They say, Paul, my cousin had a run-in with the chupacabra and PR and talks about a blur and feathers of chickens everywhere. So
that don't surprise me at all.
Right.
I've seen many times where it looks like something's wrung a turkey's neck and there's feathers everywhere. But there's no turkey around. So
right.
But
And
Bigfoot, dogman, I would imagine are probably smart enough to climb a tree and grab one off the roost and wring its neck.
Right,
it's not that hard to do if you're able to climb a tree in the dark.
And Claire Ellis, want to know is, have you had any weird dogman dreams?
I have many times. I've had some ones that were just strange, and I've had some that were very scary.
Wow.
Anybody that's ever encountered one will tell you it's life changing. Your life will never be the same again.
No, it don't. It don't. That's why I be telling people. They be like, I want to see one. No, you don't. You don't. Trust me, you don't.
And we were talking about that today. I don't know how you could provoke a good encounter with one. Unless you find out where they're staying and then just encroach on their territory or something. That's
right.
About the only way you're going to get one to, act out towards you anyway.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be a good way.
Right. Here go a question right here. You can answer this, Paul. And it's come from out the chat. Lisa A would like to know, is there any tips for someone who suspects dogmen are on their property?
That's just a tough question because I don't know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what kind of activity it is.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's something on your property, then, you know what I mean? I guess it's try to get some footage of it or something. Paul? Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. I got him. Okay. I got him back here cut off. All right, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, bro.
Yeah, did you answer the question about if you think a dogman is on your property? Any information on that?
I don't know. I would have to know the details of what's going on, and I'm no expert by any means about this. I'm more of a researcher, just trying to put together the evidence. I haven't figured out anything that anybody else hasn't. I think everybody, even if you put all the researchers in the world together, we've learned like 0.001% about these creatures.
Right.
Now, there may be people out there that specialize in dealing with them, but, I don't know the details of what's going on with the activity on the people's property. So, I don't recommend shooting at them.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Please don't shoot. Please don't shoot at them.
Maybe, I don't know. We heard that one guy said he poisoned them. I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I don't know how you would. You would deal with them without making them madder than
That's what I'm saying, though. Why would you want to poison one? And you know what? They might have knew it was poison and didn't eat it, or they system. They might have something in their system to flush it out, or they might have their own remedy when they get sick or something. We never know.
Yeah.
Like some kind of
you gotta think about it. Something that's 11 foot tall and weighs 900 pounds, a little bit of antifreeze probably ain't gonna kill it. It might.
Right. But why would you want to do that, though? That's the thing, though. You want one that bad?
Anybody that's having activity, if you're having activity on your property, you need to try and figure out what's bringing them in. Why are they coming in? There's got to be something there that they're wanting or they're seeing that they like.
Right.
So, I don't really know how Yeah, that's a tough one, you know, because it's very easy to give somebody information and get them killed, you know.
You're absolutely right, because that can get a person killed. But some people talking about why we don't hit them with tranquilizers and all that.
Yeah.
You don't know the weight. You don't know the weight of these things.
Yeah. You'd be better off to just try to snipe one of them.
Right.
I don't know, man. If somebody's having activity on their property, I don't know, man. Set some traps, maybe. Set some cameras up. Try to get it on camera. That would be my advice.
Right. I wouldn't call the wrong people in there.
Put some lights. Put some lights around your house. Some motion lights. I've even heard of people saying that these creatures, Bigfoot stuff, is unscrewing light bulbs.
Now I got another question, and this one right here say, no, somebody just Tracy removed it.
Okay.
So it must have been, inappropriate. Okay, JL, at least I understand that they will jump on your roof and look through windows like squatches do. By the way, I live in Toa Alta. Wait a minute, let me see if any more questions on it. Yeah, because they do look in your windows, though.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I'm assuming that's probably just curiosity, you know? I mean, if I seen one looking in my window, the first thing I'm going to do is put a motion light and camera up, you know?
Right. I think that's a good idea.
I think it's safe to say we can all agree that they avoid trail cameras, so I'd put 2 or 3 up.
Okay. Morg's Machine would like to know, do Doug men paint like Dougs do sometimes?
Do they, like, what, paint?
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can go on as far as that is, because the ones that I get on camera, they know I'm there, and I think they know why I'm there, you know, because they're very still. And if they don't blink their eyes, usually you don't see them. That's what, to me personally, that's how I usually catch them in a video, because I've learned over time that when I'm filming to stay on a spot and stay steady with the camera for a while before I move it. That way, you know, I give them time to blink their eyes, because they blink just like we blink. And I don't think they know to hide or they're not able to. So I haven't really seen any action as far as the way they act with their mouth and their paint. I'm sure they do. I would imagine they're covered in fur.
Right.
I don't know if they have sweat pores like we do, or if they sweat through the tongue like a dog does.
You're right about that, though. But I'm sure if they run fast and they like overheated, they might do paint.
I mean, like I said, man, we've just learned so little. You know, for everything that we learn, it comes with 20 more questions.
You're right. And somebody just said, what's your most terrifying encounter based on appearance of the Doug man?
The most terrifying one was probably this one down here where I got bluff charged. You know, just because of the way I reacted. You know, like I said on Big Show, I learned a lot about myself. You know, like what I thought I would do if something like that happened, and what I did was 2 totally different things. You can train for something your whole life, but in the heat of the moment, you know, it goes out the window. Especially in the course of 60 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like it is hard to explain. You know, if somebody had been there with me, and you know, like, you know, if I had, sometimes my girlfriend would go out with God, thank God that her or my daughter or somebody wasn't with me, because I don't know what I would have done. But that was probably my most, you know, because when I was young, I wasn't expecting to see it, even though it changed my life and it terrified me, it really did. this one here just forced me to react because I wasn't looking for it when I was young. Now I'm out there for that reason, and I know what can go wrong. So I try to prepare for it. I carry a 9mm on my hip, and sometimes I'll carry a shotgun. If I go out by myself, I'll definitely take a shotgun. So.
Right,
all of them is equally as terrifying. I mean, they really are. They're just, these creatures are so intense, and they invoke things in your body that has never been activated before.
Now, I was talking to an eyewitness today, and he said he heard on a program, which I know which one he talking about anyway, but he said that these werewolf type creatures, supposedly, this is what he said. He said he heard that they pose to be larger than the canine type.
Now, what kind is it?
The werewolf type are larger than the canine type.
Now, listen, that thing that Kurt Stokes has on video, that Bigfoot watches me video, that creature's not from around here. I don't know what that thing is, but it's not from around here. You know what I mean? Like that's something else. Natural creatures as flesh and blood don't have green illuminated eyes that are illuminated from within in broad daylight with no pupils.
And you know what, Paul? I said the same thing because I said that on I looked at that picture and I showed somebody and they was like, I said, look at the eyes. These things self-illuminate, and this is broad daylight.
Yeah, their eyes.
You think it could have? You think it? Go ahead.
I've got a bunch of videos of them blinking their eyes. I have some in a couple of videos. That's all you can see is their eyes, and some of them are greenish yellow with a black pupil. Yeah, they're like mixing yellow and green paint together, or whatever. It's just a mixture of those two colors. You can't really tell which one by looking. Kind of maybe more yellow, but they have a black pupil in the center.
Now, somebody just sent something in. I think they re-innovated their question. They said the agent was trying to say that werewolves and Dugman are two different creatures, but have you gotten evidence of a talking werewolf?
I have not. I don't know if that's just story time or what, man.
But Paul, that picture that you was talking about, though, do that thing have ears sitting on top of his head?
Which one?
The one by the tree. Because it looked like he had ears on top of the head. I could see that. I'm like, that's why I said,
are you talking about Kurt's or mine?
Yeah, Kurt's.
Oh, yeah, it's got ears.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is it? Because it looked like where the leaf at, it looked like
my personal opinion is that is a skinwalker or a werewolf.
That's what I think. And it looked like it had a grin on its face too or something. I'm like,
yeah, that's not. It had a short snout.
Yeah, it just looked menacing.
Yeah, it had a short snout. So its snout wasn't real long, but it did have one.
Right.
And it was built, and its body was built more like a gorilla. Like it was real muscular. Right.
And it's like it had, like, you could see some of the definitions in its face too, like where it's snout at and everything. I'm like, you can see the side of it.
The side of its face looks like leather.
It do. It absolutely do. It absolutely do.
It don't look like fur.
Gerald said, did you have a good picture of eye shine?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a great picture.
Okay.
It's actually in the group. I mean, I can send it to you, but it's if you go in and look in the Dogman Project group, the eye shine. It's a picture of a rock cliff, and underneath the rock, it shows the eyes, and that's all you can see is the eyes. It's looking out from underneath a rock.
Wow.
It's a really good picture. It's probably one of the best pictures that we got.
Wow. And somebody...
that picture is what led me to keep going back to that cave area, because there's so much going on in that picture that I had to go back.
And I'm sure it's a lot of caves in Kentucky. Somebody would like to know, Claire Alice would like to know, what's the largest pack you have seen?
Like, I've got, like, probably that picture that I got at them caves, I've got at least 3 of them together. And none of them look the same. So, now, the area that we go to is probably 5 or 6 square miles. It's bigger than that, but that's just what we cover. And, you know, I've got many dogmen on camera down there, probably 5 or 6 really good pictures, and in none of them do they look the same. One of them may resemble the other, but they just don't look the same anyway. So I don't know. It's just hard to tell, man. Like, I think when we're not there, I think they probably do travel in packs. But when we're there, I think that they're just stationary and they don't move around. Maybe one of them will. You turn your back or whatever.
Right. This is a good question, Paul. That picture you talking about, the Bigfoot watches me behind a tree. Do you think that that could be a gugwe?
I don't know, because you can't see its legs
right,
in the video.
Right.
I have the raw footage now to that, but you can't see its legs. And those gugwe or whatever they are, the only way I know to tell them apart from a regular dogman would be the dogman has haunches, or a werewolf has haunches, and then but these creatures, that one in Kurt's video that we're talking about, that thing was built and stood like a gorilla, like its shoulders was real high, like up near its face.
Right.
And its arms were kind of bowed, like, you know what I'm saying, like how a gorilla does when it...
Yeah, you actually
can see hair. You can see hair on the shoulder.
Yeah, so. You definitely can. You definitely can. You just gotta look real good, because he did zoom in.
Well, you got to think about it like this. Kurt filmed that with his cell phone off the viewfinder on his camera. He opened his viewfinder and then filmed it with his phone. Okay, so you really can't see a lot of details. You can see it, but it's not like being able to take the raw footage and throw it up on your 4K TV, you know?
Yeah.
It's just it's a different experience.
Yeah, it really is. And I remember I was talking, I was looking at somebody, it was somebody that researched, and he was doing a video on, he said that one day he the only one knew where he used to keep his SD cards at. And he said that one day his house, it wasn't broken into, but somehow somebody got in there and went straight to his SD cards. Like they knew where they was, because he had some stuff on there that would have blew people's mind. He said, but they went straight there and they found it. It don't. One guy said,
I'm waiting for it any minute, brother.
One guy said every time he left Mammoth Cave, he said they used to pull him over and just take his SD card. He just said it.
Well, I know who that is.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Right.
He told me, the same guy told me that he got a family of them, a family of dogmen. He got them on camera, and he said they acted like they didn't care that he was there filming.
Right.
And then he said he stopped to eat on the way out. They were at a little picnic area, some picnic table and stuff, and they were eating. And he said 2 unmarked SUVs pulled in, and I guess you know what happened after that. Yeah,
absolutely. And it don't happen to a lot of people that I have talked to, though, man. It's just it's crazy, man. It's weird. Now it was a lady, and she was in my last group, and she had some pictures on her property because she got a horse farm. And she had pictures on her property where these things used to just come out, like the female with like three youngs, and they, just sitting there. She got some good pictures, man. Good pictures. She got some good pictures.
I
like
heard a story from somebody that said they were having cattle and stuff come up missing, and a lot of their farm animals were coming up missing. And they were suspecting that this dog man on the property was the one doing it, because it had been seen around.
Oh, okay.
And they were taking precautions and prepping to, I don't know if they were ready to hunt this creature or if they had been hunted. Now, but they went out one time to check the fence line. I don't remember whose show that I heard this on. I can't remember. I listen to so many, you know what I'm saying? I can't remember. But they said that they went out to check the property, check the fence lines. You know, I guess that's what you do on a farm. But they were checking their fence lines, and they said this dog man walked out of he said about 100 yards away, it walked out of the brush line, out into the field, and said it was dragging something. And said it got out in the middle of the field and threw whatever it was dragging out into the field as if to say, this is what's killing your animals, not me, you know.
Right.
And it turned around and walked back into the woods.
Okay. Question coming out of the chat. This comes from my moderator, DJ Noogie. He said, have you ever seen a female dog man? If so, how did you know it was a female?
Well, now, the ones that I had in pictures, I'm pretty sure it's a male and a female. Now, I can't promise or swear to that, but I'm about positive just because it's got little ones with it. That's the only way I know how to tell. Maybe if I haven't seen any breasts on them, if that's what you mean. So, the only way I would be able to tell is just, I don't think the male dog men are walking around with the little ones on them, you know what I'm saying, like hanging off of them and stuff.
Yeah, right. And Kurt said that he knew Lily was a female because just the way she built.
Yeah.
You know, she built like a female, basically. But
yeah, Kurt's told me the same thing. But now I haven't down in the Daniel Boone, aside from being growled at, I haven't really had a face-to-face encounter with one. Usually what I do is when I get home, I review the footage, and usually I'm standing within 20 or 30 yards of one, and I didn't even see it. So.
Okay. Now, somebody in the group named Sade Mager, she said, have you ever had trouble with evidence in regards to other people tampering or interfering with any investigation, like some of like authorities,
No, but what we do have a problem with is the area that we go to in the Daniel Boone. It has a horse trail out there, but now these people, I don't know if they're doing it intentionally, but they're coming down there and they'll go out into the area where we're looking for tracks and stuff, and they'll take their horses and ride through the area and cover the whole road and just destroy any kind of evidence that was there. So wow. I don't know if they're doing that intentionally or not, but it seems like every time it rains, before we can get down there, somebody else has been in there on horses. And I know there ain't nobody riding horses, but where we go don't even have an end to it. You go out there and you have to turn around and come back. You know what I'm saying? So It's not on a horse. You would have to. Right. So I don't even know why they would when there's a horse trail there. So, but these are off trail. So, yeah, I don't know. That's really, we've talked about that a couple times already because where we've got tracks at, we'll go back later and there'll be a bunch of horse tracks in there where they've tore the ground up real bad.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. But no,
I haven't had any law enforcement or anything or any trouble with, because usually where these tracks are, there's nobody there. You would have to make an effort to get up there and find out.
And another thing, you got to know what you're looking for too. You've been doing this for a while, so you know what you're looking for.
Well, and I think they know what we're there for. I mean, they're watching you while you're there. So if you're down there, it takes 45 minutes for a cast to dry. So if we're walking around under an overhang somewhere and we're looking at the ground for 45 minutes, and, they see what we're doing. They have enough. I would imagine, they're intelligent enough to know, they're over there messing with our tracks.
Right. Right. That's why some people say, man, it's like these things know where to step at, man, or something. I don't know, man, but it's something where you ain't gonna find no 4 good tracks. It's like we ain't gonna make that mistake. And
well, I mean, I've had the same issue, like you mentioned earlier, like finding just one track. Yeah. Why ain't there ever another one?
Right. And it's just, oh man. Now, I had a guy that was from Oklahoma, and I somehow they had took his Facebook page down or something they did. Now he said that one morning he went out to take his daughter to the bus, and he said he went to the take it to the bus stop. He said he noticed these tracks, but they wasn't Dugman tracks. He said these was just they was like goat tracks.
And you know, that's something else that I found.
They was bipedal though. They wasn't.
Well,
go ahead.
You know how a deer track looks? Like how it's got the split in it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I found a bunch of tracks under the Daniel Boone that I followed around for a little bit they were hooves, just like a deer has, but they didn't have the split in it. They were just like
right, like a horseshoe, something like that.
Yeah, like a horse, but a small.
Right, it was just like that though. They was just like that, and they was spaced out. Like they wasn't. He knew this thing wasn't on quads. This thing was walking bipedal. And he was like, man, he said, it's got to be a goat, man. It got to be. But then what you just said, though, it had like the clove hoofs, like the Lord, like that. It's like it switched.
And it wasn't that big. It was only like maybe 3 inches wide and 2 or 3 inches long. But it went for a while. Like I followed this up out of there.
Wow. So it could be some down there.
I mean, there may be. I don't know.
It could be some down there because one guy.
Nothing surprises me at this point, man.
Because one guy said he seen one jump off the bridge and start swimming in the canal, and it was swimming like a human. But he said it wasn't that big, though. He said it was only like maybe like 5.5, 6 feet at the most.
Yeah.
Because I ain't never hear no 10-foot goat man.
Well, I think that like Greg Yost, I think that's what he's leaning more toward right now in his research is goat man.
Yeah, because they definitely out here. They definitely out here. Because we done had a whole lot of sightings in Maryland.
Man, I feel like maybe goat man might be evil or something, you know, like I don't know why I feel that way. I don't know. I could be wrong.
You know what? I feel the same way though. I feel the same way. Cause I had an eyewitness up here who seen one, and it was when they seen it was in the middle of the road. It was on all fours though. It wasn't standing up when it was in the road because they thought it was a like a pony. Like, man, somebody pony out in the road, man. That ain't no pony till that thing stood up.
So you think, like, do they have hooves for hands or do they have hands for hands?
No, they got hands. They got digits. They got digits. Wow. I posted one on a page one time of one. It's like it was in a wheat field or a cornfield. And I mean, it's in black and white, but you can see it. It's kneeling down, and it got his hands. You know how somebody would kneel down and rest their hand on their knee?
Yeah.
You can see the knuckles in the fingers, man. You can see the knuckles in the fingers. I'm like, man,
I haven't really
crazy.
seen any good pictures or anything of a goat man. I don't think I've never really researched it, but I've never.
It's a good picture. Matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can. Matter of fact, I looked at it. I found it yesterday. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you because you'll like this though. It's just.
I mean, I've seen a couple of pictures that I think maybe were photoshopped. You know, that you see every now and then, the usual ones.
Right.
But I don't know. I've never. I don't want to encounter a goat man for sure.
I think they evil too, though. So you ain't the only one. I do for some reason, yo.
I just feel like it's. I don't know.
For some reason, though, I think they evil too. I don't know why, but like, man, I don't want to run into these things. I don't want to run into these things, period, at all.
No, I don't either, man. And honestly, You know, I'm happy with just catching the dog man like I do on camera. I'm not trying to have a face-to-face with one.
Right, at all.
I feel like it's probably going to happen. I don't think there's any way it can't happen with me going out here into the areas I'm going into.
Right. And you absolutely right. You absolutely right. Because you never know.
Yeah, man. I've gathered a lot of whether anybody can look at a picture and see anything or not, I can see it. You know what I'm saying? So I've got to be at least 85% sure that there's something in the picture before I post it. And,
right.
And for every picture I post, there's 10, 15 that I don't.
I'm going to send it to you now on Messenger here.
All
right. I'm going to, wait a minute, let me go to Messenger. I got to find Messenger on this damn thing. Hold up. All right, more. Let me go to more. Let me see if Messenger.
I don't know that really. I'll have to probably look at it when I get off the phone with you.
You ain't going to be able to look at it now?
No, it won't let me for some reason.
I thought it would still let you, I thought it was going to still let you see it, though.
No, it won't, because you're using your internet. I'm using my internet. Oh, yeah, it did come through.
There, yeah, it go through. Now, look at that. Tell me what you think.
Wow. I have seen that picture before.
Yeah, you see.
I thought that was a Bigfoot.
Yeah, no, you look at the snout. It looked just like a goat.
Yeah, I see it now. That's great.
It looked just like a goat, like it got the little beard and everything. And you can see how it's resting his hands on his leg.
Yeah, I see that.
Like it's comfortable.
That's crazy, man. That's a good picture.
I'm like, wow, yo, it looked just like one, yo. It got the beard and everything, yo. And it got them evil slanted ass eyes on the side too. It just looked like it just, oh man, they not right. They not right, man.
That.
I don't want to encounter that either.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good picture, though.
Yeah, I don't want to encounter that either. Yeah, that's a good picture. That was a good picture right there. I'm like, man, that's a all right picture right there.
Is or is it just on the internet?
Huh?
Do you know whose picture that is, or is it just on the internet?
You know what? It was sent to my my old group. It was sent to my old group, but I forgot who sent the picture. So yeah, because
been around for a while. But
it had. But I was like, whoever took that though, they got a real good picture.
Well, have you watched that episode of Ghost Adventures with that Zach guy?
No.
Where they get that goat man, like the silhouette of it when they're sitting inside of like an RV talking, and you can see the reflection off of the ceiling of what's outside behind them.
Oh.
And something walks up, man, and you can see horns on its head and everything. Man, this is on Ghost Adventures.
Oh, you say with horns?
Yeah.
That's probably a goat man.
Like if I can whenever we get off the phone or whatever, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, please do, because I want to see that.
It's really good. Like it was a good episode, but they're actually there.
Okay.
They got some chick with her, and she starts crying and stuff, and she has a really bad feeling. And while she's doing this and crying and stuff, this thing walks up to the camper. Now, I mean, I guess it's a TV show. It could be staged. I don't know. But they said that it wasn't.
Wow. Tell them to send it, Lisa. Somebody got a good question. I'm telling them to send it. Tell them send it so I can ask them. They say Al got a good question, and tell them send it, Lisa, so I can ask. He said, "What do somebody want to know? Al want to know, what do Doug Man's scat look like?"
From what I've found, it has a lot of hair in it.
Wow.
Like a lot. Like we found it today, as a matter of fact. And I found it previously out there, which I picked up and put in a now listen, it's either scat or something coughed up a very large hairball. So we found 2 piles up today, and there's actually somebody posted a picture of it. If you go look at the last post that I posted in my group, somebody in the comments, the guy that went with me today, posted a picture of the scat that we found. And usually when I find it, if I think it's Dogman, it'll have a lot of hair. It'll be nothing but hair, because I guess the digestive system won't break down hair.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Newgate, I see you say goat man on all fours. But you gotta think, Bigfoot can get down on all fours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, you said, like you debating on that one. But yeah, Bigfoot can get down on all fours. So who to say that these cryptids can't go down on all fours, which they can? I'm just going by what the eyewitness said.
Well, I mean, like if you think about it, a dog man has, even though it's got hands, it still has the pads. You know what I'm saying? That it still has the pads that a dog would have on its hands. And like I don't know how a goat man would work, because it has hooves. You know what I'm saying? If it's got hands and hooves, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It is crazy though, because it have hands, and it's weird though. And some people said it had been walking, and they saying it with a large stick in his hand, or like a club. I'm like, that is crazy.
It sounds like something out of a movie.
Don't it? Oh man.
Get clubbed in the head by goat man.
Right. It is crazy though. It is though. I like Paul.
Well, if you guys ever see on the news that I was killed in a bear attack or a cougar attack, just know it was not a cougar or a bear.
Now they do got a goat man bridge in Texas though. Yeah, they got one in Maryland too.
That's where they were at on that Ghost Adventure shows in Maryland.
Yeah, that's where Goat Man, that's where it's famous. That's where the sightings famous for at here in Maryland.
Yeah, that's where they were at. When we get off the phone, I'll
send me that link. And I'm talking about these sightings I got for my eyewitnesses. It wasn't too long ago, you know, about the Goat Man here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been
Goat Man's just really never hit my radar as far as, you know. Do I believe it could be out there? Absolutely. I believe there's probably many more other ones that we don't know about too out there. Like what people are calling the rake or whatever. I mean, that could be some kind of weird cryptid.
So this guy asked me the same question again. His name is Nelly, right? He said, once you rent a mobile RV truck and camp out with a Doug man and Goat Man at, he said, you'll be safe because you inside. You inside, it'll be locked. He said, I'm down if you down. Man.
I guess he ain't listened to that 911 call. That guy cries for like 45 minutes while that Bigfoot's trying to flip his RV over.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I heard it, yeah. But he like, man, them RVs can't stop them things if they want to get in.
Nah, they'll flip that RV over like a pop can.
Yeah, they'll flip that thing over. And they ain't got to push it hard.
Yeah.
Do you think Rick does
like this going out and staying all night and stuff. That's like the 3rd or 4th time I've heard that today. You know, I feel like going and staying the night is for somebody that's trying to see if they believe or not. Yeah, I know they're there. I don't have to stay all night.
Right. Now somebody wanted to ask you. Rick does paranormal. Asked. He said, "Do you think Doug men are interdimensional?"
See, that's back to the supernatural.
Yeah, and that's something I
personally believe they're flesh and blood.
I do too, because they bleed, they eat, they sleep, they fornicate, and they defecate.
And now, you know, with that being said, like I said before, I do believe that there is a spiritual side of it, but I believe it's evil.
Yeah.
I think you got to do some crazy things to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Like some people. Like Vic said, he like the skinwalker thing. Vic said, I have to believe that one. He said, I had to see that to believe it.
Yeah. You
know, Vic could tell you quick. He said he just don't believe in the skinwalker thing. But I had an eyewitness on the show.
Well,
and she took. Go ahead. Oh, wait. Okay. She went. Oh, okay. Wait. Go ahead, Paul. I'm gonna let you go first. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, if you go and listen to J.C. Johnson, he talks the Navajo Nation is the size of Ohio. It's got roughly 1 million citizens there that are Navajo. They've got a group of guys. That's their job. That's all they do. It's not skinwalkers.
Right.
And they somebody asked, well, how do you know? He's like, they accumulate a lot of wealth. These guys that are skinwalkers will accumulate. Kids.
But
shut my garage door real quick.
Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to say real quick on that though, we was just talking about, because I lost my frame of thought. Oh, he said about the skinwalker. I had somebody that lived out on Skinwalker Ranch, and she said her father was like one of the I guess one of the top priests there, and then this guy asked him one day, he said, well, do y'all want to see something? Then he said, no, better yet, y'all can hear it. I want y'all to close all y'all eyes though. He said, but first, bound me with rope and chains. They bounded him with rope and chains. He said, now don't open your eyes because I don't want you to look at this. And he said that all of a sudden he just started chanting and making this noise, and all of a sudden they just start hearing bones and that growling and all that. And they said, the girl father said he peeked at the end, and he said he seen him walking out of the tent. And as he was walking out, she seen like the prints coming from up in under his feet was just fire, just leaving out like boom, boom, boom as he walked out of the tent. Now she told that story on my YouTube channel, and I thought it was uploaded, but come to find out, it never went on there. Her story never went up there.
Well, I heard one on Brent Solomon show. You ever listen to any of his?
Yeah. I just like Brent.
Right. He had a good one on there one time where a guy said that he was young. He went with his mom. I don't remember where this took place. I think it was out in Washington or Northern California. But he said they went to these people's house. It was one of his mom's friends, and they were fighting her and her boyfriend or whoever was fighting. He was young, probably 7 or 8 years old. And he went in, he said when he walked up to the house, they had a mud room. You know what I'm talking about? Like a room that's off the front of the house where you can take your shoes and stuff, jackets and everything. Then he went into the house. He said when they went in, they had a fish tank in there. Now, that woman was walking around crazy, like telling his mom, we got to go. We got to get out of here, He said my mom was like, well, you ain't got no coffee made. He's like, just normal chit chat. But he said I was focused on that fish tank they had. He said out the corner of my eye, I seen this man sitting in a recliner, and he was wearing a pair of boxer shorts, and he looked nasty, like his hair was all scraggly and stuff. But he said that man took out a jar, some kind of weird looking jar that had like a strange lid on it, and he took big gobs of that stuff out and was rubbing it all over his body. And he said it looked gray, like it had hair and rocks and mud, all kinds of stuff in it. But as he was spreading it on himself, it was clear. You couldn't see it. And he said this guy was just real liberal with it. Like he was just scooping big handfuls of it out and rubbing it on him. And that woman started freaking out. She's like, we gotta go. And she's like shoving people out of the way, trying to get out. So she gets out in her car and leaves. Okay, he said my mom and him drive one of them little Datsuns and little cars. He said they were both big women. My mom and her friend, they were both really big women. It took them a second to get in the car and get situated. So he said they got in and got in the car, and he said that you could this thing, whatever it was, come out onto the porch, and it took up the whole mud room. He said it just blocked the light and everything out. And it come off the porch. He said it was taking as they backed out of the driveway, it was taking big lunging steps, like it was lunging.
Wow.
And he said it came right out into the road. He said it was a werewolf, I guess is what he was saying that it was. But this guy, and then, he said he talked to his mom about it later. His mom just acted like he had a bad dream or something. But later on in school, he said he had to do an essay or something, and he had run across that same jar in one of his books that he got in the library. Yeah. And it had something to do with satanic stuff. But anyway, it was the same jar. And when he asked his mom about it again, and she said it was a dream, he threw that book down in front of her. He said, now tell me it's a dream.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know if it's true. But do you think this Gugwe could come from them interbreeding?
What do you mean, Bigfoot, Dogman?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's possible, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I said that is a possibility of where this Gugwe come
like
from.
I said before, man, at this point in everything I'm doing, nothing surprises me anymore. It'd be hard to surprise me.
You're right about that. Somebody just said you can't write off evidence. You're absolutely right. You can't.
You can't. And
can't.
well, I mean, people can, and they will.
Have you ever seen that?
People,
Go ahead, Paul.
I mean, some people are just mean, man.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know what their motives are, or I don't know if maybe they really can't see anything in the picture. I don't know. But I've had people who spend 10 minutes writing me a message about how they can't see something. And, and if they would have used that time that they wrote that message but to look at the picture, they probably would have seen it.
Yeah. And you know what, though? I was, all right, what's the question, Sade? Wait a minute, she want to ask you another question. What's the most intelligent thing you've personally seen a Doug man do, and what is the most intelligent thing you have heard of a Doug man doing?
Well, I've got a video of one. It's standing about 60 yards from me, and it's now this picture. I've got a picture of it in the group, but I've got the video, and it's standing on two legs, and when it gets up to its waist, it's hunched over like a kangaroo. It's like kind of hunched over looking at me, and it's got a stick, like a branch in its right hand, and it's got a stick in its left hand that's coming up to its face, kind of. And every time the wind blows and the sticks move in front of my face, it shakes that branch with its right hand.
Wow.
Now, I mean, that's probably one of the most intelligent things I've ever seen. I mean, that's just, to me, is mind-blowing.
Wow. That is. Because you got to think.
The video that I have, it shakes that stick. It moves that stick up and down, like kind of to match the wind blowing the sticks in front of my face.
Yeah, because these things they definitely are intelligent. I believe
there's some out there that are dumb. I think there's some that's just not as smart as the rest of them.
Right. I do too. Like the guy said, the guy was in Florida because I was the first to interview him. Anyway, the guy in Florida that had the one run past his backyard. He said a year before that he went to take out the trash, and he go to take out the trash, and he said he see a black one, about 4 feet tall, but it didn't have Doug legs. He said it looked like a black werewolf. He said it was just cold black, and he said it just stood there with them big yellow eyes. And it wouldn't move. He said it wouldn't move. He said this thing was still as it was still as a rock. He said, but as soon as he blinked his eyes, that thing was gone.
Yeah, I mean, the intelligence, man's off the chart. It really is. Like they're almost tribal. You know what I'm saying? Like they're almost. I mean, I would love to see how they live. As like a fly on the wall, just kind of, I'd love to just see how their everyday life is, what they do.
You know what though? That probably would be interesting though. That probably would be.
And that's the kind of end of it that I'm interested in. I want to know, I want to know their living arrangements. I want to know.
Right.
I want to look in their window, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you know what? That would be a good idea though, because I think they live on the ground though.
I think they live in caves.
Caves and underground. They could live in old buildings that people don't go in no more.
Yeah, and like deadfalls, they'll pile brush up around these deadfalls.
They said
sometimes they don't even have to.
Now, Claire just said something. She said she said devil monkeys killed at LBL, not Doug man. They said ever seen one, Paul? A devil monkey? I don't know what you're talking about, but she said a devil monkey.
Hopefully I don't. No, that sounds like something.
Yeah, it just sounds like something you don't even want to run into.
Well, let's talk about something for a second. What does the LBL and the Daniel Boone have in common?
What?
They're both national parks.
Right.
They're both around large bodies of water.
Yep.
You know, the one or two areas that I have around here and down there have. You know, the place that me and Kirk go to Daniel Boone have, they all have a graveyard, a large body of water.
I gotta read their questions. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They usually just have that. They usually have two of those three things. Cornfield, large body of water, or a graveyard is usually present in every one of these areas.
Oh, and you know what? Claire just asked that question before that. She said the LBL witness drew one of one of these devil monkeys. I didn't.
I see Bart Nunley today posted on his page that you remember the one he drew for that woman, Jan Thompson or whatever, years ago.
Yeah,
he drew that one, but he said that Roger looked at it and said that was exactly it.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. He said they kind of had like a feline look to them. Like I said, nothing surprises me, Marvin, because they all...
You absolutely right. You absolutely
they all
right.
Look different, man.
Because one guy said, I had interviewed up in Canada, he said he seen one running by near this body of water. He said, but when he looked at it, he said, man, it just looked like a feline in the face. He said, but it had dug legs. He said, but it looked like a cat, like a sphinx, a sphinx, whatever the kind of cat they call that thing.
Yeah, I know what
you're talking about. Yeah, it
lynx.
looked like a lynx. Yeah, it said it looked like a lynx.
And you know, like in some of the pictures that I've got, their ears aren't sticking up, and I think that they know that their ears are a dead giveaway. Like if your eyes are scanning.
Right.
And you see, you know what I'm saying? You're more likely to see those ears sticking up. So I think they know that when they're around us and they're visual, we can see them, they know to keep them ears pinned back. Like
that picture you got on your page with them red eyes and them big ears, tall as I don't know what. Ears is sticking way. It's by the tree. It's by a tree. Peeking like around a tree. That thing is wow.
Oh, you're talking about, that was Greg Yost.
Okay, yeah. That thing is too tall.
Yeah, that was a good picture.
Yeah, that was a good picture. Somebody said, why do you think that these Doug men go into people's homes?
You know, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's just something, that's one of my interests too. Why are they going to people's homes? Why are they looking in their windows? And, you know, I've heard people say that they could be doing it for different reasons, you know, curiosity. Maybe they're just around on the property because they're hungry, and, you know, I don't know. But, you know, J.C. Johnson always had a saying that every time I listened to the show, I always heard him say it. He's like, it was show me the calories. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's got to be enough calories in an area to support a 7 to 9 foot tall creature that weighs 700 to 1,000 pounds. You know, it takes a lot of calories to support that every day.
Yeah, it do.
And you know, some of the pictures that we have in one area, you know, the creatures kind of look skinny and scrawny, and then like as you get farther away from that area into the other area, they get bigger.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think they look scrawnier because they're young, or you think they might be a lot younger? Because I'm sure as
only the strong survive. You know
I think when they kind of young, and and when they growing up, I don't think all of them, because it seems like all of them, the ones that you see that got this muscle definition, it's like they be cut up. It's like I would think they would have to get into that body.
The big healthy ones, the ones that are real big. I mean, you know, they've already, I'm sure they established dominance or whatever. You know, they're the first ones to eat if something's took down or killed. So, you know, I'm sure that these other ones, these literal ones, just get what's left.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, y'all, if you got a big pack, then y'all should grab about 4 or 5 Oh, 6 days.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is I'm trying to figure out if they even travel in packs. Or
Right.
Can you even call it a pack?
Or do they take it back? Do they take?
Is it a family unit?
Right. It could be a family unit. They take it back just for the family.
Like when you say a bunch of wild, different dogs or whatever, like, you know, I feel like this is a mother, a father, and some young. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like when I see a picture of a group of them. I felt like, you know, as if somebody would have walked in the grocery store, took a picture of me and my girlfriend and my kid.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah, do they travel in packs though? That's the question you gotta ask though, like you said.
Yeah.
Because you would think
exactly.
though, if it's a pack of say if it's a pack of 20, you know how much food you're gonna need just to feed all them? Now we ain't talking about the young, we ain't talking about the little ones, just say it's 20 big ones. You're gonna need a lot of deer.
And you know, I've heard somebody else say, if you want go out and look in your area if you want to know if they're there. Look at the wildlife. You know, if there ain't none, more than likely they're there. You know, if they refuse to leave an area when the wildlife's gone, then they'll start eating cattle and horses.
Right.
And then if they still refuse to leave, then they'll start eating domestic animals. And then I mean, everybody knows what's next.
Yeah, but Paul, we've been on 2 hours. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm glad that you came on, you know, and you know, share that with us. But I want you to send me that link because I want to check that out.
Oh yeah,
I definitely want to check that out. So I'm glad that
you know what show I'm talking about, don't you? Zach Bagan, that guy, he's a real overactor, but you know, like on the Travel Channel or whatever.
Yeah.
Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an older one, but I'll find it and I'll send it to you. It's definitely worth watching.
Yeah,
I'll even post it in the group. I'll share the link in the group.
Okay, yeah. Please send it to me, and man, thanks for coming on, sharing that with us, and you know, go ahead and spend the rest of the night with your family, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. It's good talking to you.
All right, you too. Thanks, Paul. All right, y'all. We came to an end. You know, that was good. I like that. You know, we had you know, somebody come on talk about that. Whipped their dead, buried them, cannibalized them. Somebody say one was burnt, and they went over there and ate the burnt bones and ashes of their dead. Hold on, y'all. Let me get something to drink. Hold on. Yeah, I'm back. Glad, sorry. All right. Yeah, but I want to thank everybody that, you know, showed up and showed out. Gerald, Al, you know, Tracy. Thanks to all the moderators keeping their eye out and watching stuff. Y'all ain't letting nothing get past, so I like that. Southern guy putting up no ones. y'all ain't right. Yeah, I did. I thanked them. That's what is a great. Yeah, that was a good show. And don't forget, he gonna post a link so y'all can go and check it out. So be sure to go on there and check it out. Thank again, Morgan's Machine, Marquetta, Claire, Lisa, Tracy, you know, Antonio, Nugi, dude from Texas, LT, Antonio, you know, just thank everybody for showing up and showing out, man. It really means a lot. You know, and it's still a whole lot of people in the chat, though. You know, it's still people in the chat. you know, and I just want to thank Gerald, you know, Huckabuck, just a lot of people, man, that showed up on here. Some new names I ain't seen up here, you know. So glad that we got to meet them. Sade, Al Santiago, you know, just thank everybody that showed up and showed out. You know, y'all still doing that. Y'all ain't right, yo. Y'all ain't right, man, with these ones. Y'all really ain't. Why y'all do this to me? All right, y'all. If everybody put up one, then I go ahead and tell one. Everybody got to put up one, though. I go ahead and tell one. If everybody put up one, I go ahead and tell one, though. So, put up one. Tell an encounter. All right, put up a one. Put up a one. Come on, y'all. Put up the one, please. So we can get this on the road. Everybody put up a one. Pie. Put up a one, y'all. All right. Yeah, they still going up. All right. As y'all know, anonymity means a lot to me. So with that, I never use anyone's name, but I'm gonna go into this encounter. I had met this guy. Now I'm gonna tell you the place where this happened at, though. I'm gonna tell you where it happened at. It was a guy who was in the military, and from the military, he became an officer, and he stayed an officer, you know, for the rest of his time till he was retired. So I was out one day. Matter of fact, I think I was down to Harbor. I was down to Harbor, and this guy, I had seen him, you know, feed some birds. So me, I'm curious. I went over there and I sat, you know, and I asked him, you know, can I feed the birds with him? He said, sure. And I always, you know, used to keep my little book. I used to take, you know, just take notes down and write stuff. And he asked me one day, he said, what you write? I said, man, and I get a lot of, you know, kickback, man, for telling people what I believe in and stuff like that. He said, try me, young man. And I told him, he said, I want you to take my number. He said, when you get time, he said, I want you to call me. I'm going to talk to you about some things. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this encounter. Now, this encounter that I'm going to tell you about, he was an officer during this time. And he said one night, one afternoon, he had, you know, clocked in. He started doing his rounds. And he said about a week after being there, because, you know, he was wasn't there that long. So he said, but after about a week, he had started getting, you know, he had got a call right before he was supposed to leave. And, you know, they asked him, can he go out there and, you know, see about it? So he went out to this lady home. So he went up there and, you know, he knocked on the door and he asked her what the problem. She said, well, I heard some noises out back. I don't know what it is, he said, and then I start seeing these strange colored lights. Says she starts seeing these small round circles, you know, just in back of our house up in the wood line. So he walks back there. He don't see nothing. So he goes back. He asks her, he said, well, what did you hear? She said, it sounded like I heard, you know, like a growling noise or something. She said, I'm not really sure. I don't know what it was, you know, but it sounded like it was growling to me. So he was like, He was like, okay. He said, well, I'm gonna get off though, but I come on in the afternoon. If you have any more when I'm on, you can just call me. He gave her a card number. So she had his number. Now, he said that he used to ride that neighborhood, constantly after, that happened anyway. And he said he was riding one night. And he said not too far before he gets to her house, he said he see these strange lights just go from one side and they darts on the other side. But it's near the lady house that had the sighting about these first orbs that she seen. So he rides up there and he stops just a little bit past the house and he look back in the tree line. He can see these lights. They just sitting there. He said all of a sudden they just shot up. They was gone. So what he did, he sat there for a while. He sat there in his car because he was getting ready, trying to kill time anyway, because he was getting ready to get off again. He said all of a sudden he can hear this howl. He starts to hear this howl. So he like, what the fuck? What the hell is because he don't know what it is, but he hear a howl. So he steps out his car. He stands by his car. He don't walk on the other side. But that's where the noise coming from. So he stands by his car. And after a few seconds, he hear this noise again. And he repeats the question. What is it? He don't know what it is. He gets back in his car. He drives off, he leaves. He said just when he was almost back to the station, the lady calls him. The lady calls him and say, please, can you come out here? Please, can you come out here? It's something in my backyard. It's something in my backyard. He said, well, what is it? What is it? He said, I don't know what it is. It looked like a big dove on all fours. He said, can you please come out here? So he knew he was getting ready to get off, but he went out there anyway because he gave her his personal number just in case she called and get, if she had any trouble. So he gets out there, he knocks on the door, he goes in. And he said, what's the problem? She said, I don't know. She said, I seen this large dove in my backyard. She said, can you please go out there and just look around? So that's what he do. He goes out the back. He walks towards the tree line. He takes his gun out his holster. He got a flashlight in one hand. He got his gun in the other one. He shines the flashlight. He walking up in the tree line. He said, but he didn't walk far. He said he went up in there to about 30 feet and he stopped and he scanned the light all around. Then he noticed his light had hit some eye shine. He said his lights hit these bright yellow eyes. He said, but when the light hit it, it just moved behind a tree. But he said he got a good look at this thing. He said this thing looked like a canine in the face. He got a good look at this thing. He said this thing moves behind the tree. And he just standing there. He don't know what to do. And he don't want to call it in. He goes back to the lady house. And she said, did you see anything? Did you see anything? He said, yeah, I seen something. He said, but I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what it is. He said, well, can you call something? Or somebody's like, Miss, I'm going to tell you the truth. I can call somebody But it's going to be a whole lot about this. So he said, I can call somebody if you want me to. He said, the only thing I can do, you got my number, just call me. I'm going to see what I can do. But I'm not going to call my superiors and tell them that I seen this creature, this thing, standing up by a tree. We know what's out here. Now he breaks down. And he tells this lady, we know what's out here. I've been in the military for years. I've seen a lot of things. So we know what's out here. I seen UFOs. He's seen orbs before. He's seen Bigfoot before. And he know that these dogman creatures are out here. But it's like he had a soft spot for this lady. Because one, she lived alone. And he didn't want to bring no trouble to her house. So he just told her, look, just call me. You know, she said, I'm off for the next couple of days. You know, if you need me, just call me. So a few days go past and nothing. She said all she was seeing was the lights. She would see these orbs. They would just show up out of nowhere. And she said on the fourth day, he was back to work at this time. And she said it seemed like every time that things used to happen around the same time, these orbs would show up around the same time. She say she in the kitchen one day. She in the kitchen and she washing dishes. Say she washing dishes. She said that's when something caught her attention at her back door. And she looked out and she looked back at her back door. And she say she looking at, you know, the doorknob. And she say she can see the knob turning. Like it's going one way and then it's going the other way. She say because she always lock a door, she always lock a window. But she say she know for a fact something turned her doorknob. She calls him. He comes out there again. This time, grab his shotgun. And he goes back up in the woods again. He walking. He looking. He see this creature again. This time, it ain't standing behind a tree. It's showing itself. He sees it. He said he fired one shot. Boom! Fired one shot. He know this thing, this wasn't gonna do nothing. But he fired one shot. He didn't fire it to hit the creature. He fired to try to scare it off. He said, but it's like that made this thing mad. Because it started growling. It started showing its teeth. So he backs up out, gun still aiming, and he leaves. He goes in the house, he tell the lady, he say, look. He said, the only thing I can do is to give you a number to some people I know that can come out here that can deal with these type creatures. And that's what he did. He gave her a number that she was to call and they was to come out and deal with her problem. And she said after about a month and a half, they came out. Whatever they did, she said she didn't have a problem no more. So he didn't go into it of what they did or how they got rid of it or how they made it leave or whatever. He didn't even tell me that, you know. But he saw all this when he was in the military and when he was an officer. So he said he knew about a lot of stuff. And he said he had level 5 clearance. So he can go in places that just couldn't know anybody go into. And he's seen a lot of stuff. He told me about some things, but a lot of stuff he still wouldn't talk about to this day, you know. And I still got his number, you know, but I just ain't call him or talk to him. You know, I tried to get him to come on the show one time, but he was like, no, because he thinking that somebody gonna recognize his voice and it's just a whole bunch of stuff, so. Kia, Southern guy, free rolls. Hey, Kia, McKay. Cause y'all gotta think, man, that's why when you ask somebody, man, you be like, you know, the guy that was asking me, man, let's rent an RV, man, and let's go look for the Doug man and Goat man. No, I'm not going to look for no Doug man and no Goat man and park in on their territory. And you in there asleep. Next thing you know, I'm standing over top of you. Cause I ain't gonna open my eyes. I'm gonna act like I'm asleep, like some of my eyewitnesses did. I'm gonna act like I'm still asleep. I don't see nothing. My eyes closed. I ain't doing it. How you doing? That's what y'all gotta think, man. And do these orbs got something to do with some of these creatures, though? Y'all think? In some cases, they have showed up. That's why I say, man, these could be, you know, aliens could have something to do with this. But thanks everybody on here for showing up and showing out. Damn, it's 40-something people in the chat. And they've been coming, you know what I mean? They would want you to, I guess, me to stay on here all night. You know. But thanks for showing up and showing out. I know some people probably came late, and I don't like to just jump off of here because now the people that didn't hear it, but y'all can go back and hear it because it's gonna download quick anyway. Tracy, you real funny. Yeah, but that's cool though. I gotta upload Ty J next episode too, so I'm gonna do that too. I'm still trying to get her to come on, yo. It's like she giving me the run around. All right, Lieutenant, good night. Moose McGraw, good night. Special thanks to our UK moderators. Good night, everybody. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to upload this. So I guess y'all can meet in the meet in the moderators room to have a discussion about some things. So I want to thank everybody for showing up, for showing out, man. Love each and every one of y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next live. Good night, y'all.